Hey, what's up? This is episode number 7 of Design Over Time. I'm Kirby Kid, I'm your host, and in this series we will be talking about whatever game design topics that float by my everyday normal conversation or everyday life. And today I want to talk about something that I call conservative design. It's really a general concept, but it applies to just about any game that has varied elements or any kind of a design space really. But when I'm talking about conservative design, I'm saying that all games are made around a certain kind of balance, and they can be balanced for competitive viability and multiplayer fairness. They can be balanced for a single idea or a single style of play or whatever. It doesn't matter what the balance is. As soon as the developers or the designers have what kind of idea of the experience they want in mind, that sort of sets off the process of balancing everything else so that it matches up to that idea. And for a game like Smash Brothers, which is my favorite game series of all time, and Smash 4 being my favorite version, we're going to talk a little bit about design space balance with just a few moves just to get you familiar with the concept. We're going to jump right in and show a lot of game footage. I got my brother over there manning the station, so we're going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to click it right now and grab my gamepad. Okay, so we're going to look at two moves, one between Mario, which is a classic Super Smash Brothers character, right? And then we have this newcomer, Corrin, who his path is clear, and apparently he came out with the latest Fire Emblem games, which came out about a year ago. So Corrin's like new blood and Mario's old blood. We're going to see how their design of their neutral specials compare. So what's really interesting, the really core idea about Smash Brothers is these characters and these moves are designed like they are in the original games. He's got duck and jump, but then this fireball move is just like the original game, except for he can't shoot them very quickly and he can't shoot two on the screen at the same time. So just getting characters into this game, there are pros and cons. Certain concessions have to be made, certain balancing considerations, but a lot of characters in a lot of fighting games, if you look at Street Fighter, if you look at Smash Brothers, seem to all have moves that look similar. Like Corrin right now is shooting these fireballs, I'm shooting my fireball, but they have very different properties. So Corrin's shot paralyzes Mario, and then Corrin's shot can be charged, and the longer Corrin charges it, do it again, I can't get out of that or get out of the fly away knockback animation. But unlike Corrin's fireballs, this is all mine do. But Corrin can also combo the paralyzing shot into a Dragon Fang, like that. Does massive damage, that's a lot of damage. And it also is a really good kill move. So there's a lot of differences. The more you start playing the game, the more you start seeing these differences are more than just color. And look at the size of that thing. Like, I'll slow it down for you guys. Yeah, Corrin's neutral shot compared to Mario's. I have a tiny little fireball, and Corrin has this huge water-based, I'm assuming, Dragon Fang shot that makes people paralyzed with electricity. I have no idea why that's the case. But these characters are way different, and these little differences start to add up. And you know, in general, a game like this has to be really complex and have a lot of different properties and variables and moves just to be Smash Brothers in the first place. So the more you play these games, the more you realize these little differences are big differences, and they matter when you're trying to be competitive. So we're going to compare these two moves, and we're going to see how they differ. And when I'm talking about design space, what I'm really talking about is this. Okay, so as you can see here, these are properties that make all the moves in Smash Brothers go around. These are just about every single move in the game can be evaluated according to these properties, these axes of design, these major design space categories. And because Smash Brothers is a game that's 2D, and the whole point is to knock the opponent off the stage, the attacks and how they're defined and how they make people fly back, or how you can control your opponent if you get a hit, are very important considerations or very important categories. So if you're familiar with fighting games or action games, these are the kind of the mainstays. Startup, how quickly the move comes out. Active frames, how active the move is, so when is the exact block of time when the move does damage, or for a projectile, how long it stays on the screen before it fades away. Recovery is how quickly you can recover from using a move in time. Range is how far the move goes. For projectiles, you know how far they go out. For normal attacks, it's just how far can you stick your hand, your foot, or whatever. Damage in Smash Brothers, we measure damage in percentage. Stun is interesting because there are certain moves in Smash Brothers that give a lot more stun than others, and electric-based attacks have a lot of stun. And then we have knockback, how far you fly from getting hit. Mobility is a big deal in Smash Brothers. Unlike traditional fighting games, in Smash Brothers you can move however you want. So considering how players can move and use these attacks is pretty important. And then you have, whatever other miscellaneous properties and categories a move might have to make it extra unique. So we're going to go back and look at Corrin right here. So if we've noticed startup, we're going to both do our B moves at the same time. I'm going to be facing left, Corrin's going to be facing right. And on the count of 3, we're going to hit B, and you can just kind of see them activate. 1, 2, 3, go. So like they come out at about the same speed. So that's pretty equivalent on startup. Then you have active, and 1, 2, 3, go. Goes to the middle. My fireball goes a little farther. So that's how many frames are active. Charge your Fang Shot from the other side of the stage. Goes much farther, right? And I keep charging. But just one max charge or a small charge on the Fang Shot gets completely nullified by a fireball. Do a small one. So that means even though the Fang Shot gets much better properties offensively, defensively as far as how much stamina it has, defensively it looks like the Fang Shot is about equal to the fireball. So then it's a matter of whoever recovers first. 1, 2, 3, go. So Mario recovers a little bit faster than Corrin, and even without getting into frame data and stuff, you can just kind of see these effects naturally when you play the game like this. Damage-wise, I'll reset this. I'll do a fireball, 5 damage, and if I shoot you from further away, 4 damage. So the distance that you are away from your target matters, but Mario's does a good old 5 damage. Do your small Fang Shot, 4 damage, and then do your max shot. 11 damage, so much more damage and much more stun, much more range when you charge it. And go ahead and do your bite, max charge. Can't believe I missed. So 20 damage for just the fully charged bite. Now do an uncharged bite. So 14 damage from just the bite. So it looks like Corrin's move is a lot more versatile than Mario's. As you can see, Corrin can charge both the shots and the bites to greater degrees. Greater amounts, and then Corrin can, Corrin's move does a lot more damage, it does a lot more stun, it does a lot more knockback. Like these fireballs, I'll show you, will never kill anyone. Look at that, 999 damage, which is the max it can go in Smash. You should do your light shot. No! do the light shot. So even the light shot is way more knockback than Mario's fireballs ever could. So that move alone is like more powerful, it goes farther, it can be charged. Variable timing is a really important thing in Smash Brothers. Not only can Corrin decide to do like the short version, but the long version as well. Like, so I shield way earlier. So it looks like Corrin's move when double fully charged is twice as long as Mario's single fireball, but you get so many more rewards. Corrin's move can kill, it can stun, it can go farther, and this little measly fireball, this is all it does. So one of the things we have to consider is, the knockback is greater with Corrin, the stun is greater with Corrin, the damage is greater with Corrin, the range is greater with Corrin. Recovery time is about the same, but overall with Corrin it's longer. The active frames are better with Corrin for both the attack and the shot, and the startup is about the same. Or Corrin's action is a little bit faster, but Mario's is right behind. So then the next thing we got to consider is, mobility. So when you're moving in this game, that's a big deal. Being able to jump and use attacks. Mario, I'm moving fully forward, and Mario shoots a fireball, he keeps moving forward. You can see Corrin hovers a little bit and then drops kind of straight down. That's a big difference. So we'll run and do our attacks. There we go. So I can go much farther than Corrin. With the fireballs out, I can fade backwards, I can fade forwards. I can do this little S shape and come back around. This is what I mean by mobility. And some moves limit your ability to move around when you use them. In the air especially. On the ground you're pretty much stuck on the ground, but in the air you got all this freedom. And I can even do stuff like this. Like that. And that mobility really counts in Smash Brothers. So Mario definitely has a plus in the column for mobility, but in terms of range and size and distance and kill power, those are all like much more powerful things that Corrin can set up. There are also a lot of subtle properties, like with Mario's fireballs, they can lock people on the ground if they miss their tech, and that forces them to stand up, which allows you to extend combos in different ways. So that's cool. I mean, sure, the move's not useless, but if you compare them on the side-by-side chart, Mario's moves are way more conservative than Corrin's, and this is what I mostly mean when I'm talking about conservative. There is an average speed, range, damage, so on and so forth for all these moves, and if your character doesn't have too many categories that are on the positive side, like above average, that means the character is going to find a lot harder time using the moves in normal conditions. And the more conservative a move is in terms of not giving it too many powerful attributes and not counterbalancing that with too many negative attributes, that means you're going to have to find the right opportunity to use a move rather than just use it and it'll generally be good. So that was a basic presentation of what I mean by conservative design. It's about observing the design space. It's about breaking things down to properties, categories, axes, if you will, that are relevant to playing the game and winning the game especially. Everybody sort of has a feel for what's good in whatever game they play. They know usually damage is good, speed's good, mobility is good, invincibility frames, dodging, recovery time, all those are good. And that kind of those universal categories go across just about every action game. So it's pretty obvious to tell when certain characters have pros in some columns and certain characters have cons, and that kind of balances things out. But it's just so odd when you come across a situation where a character or a move has so many pros compared to the cons. You're like, what were they thinking? Can't they see, like, this is how the game is supposed to be balanced, and these characters or these moves certainly look like outliers. There's a lot more to understanding gameplay balance than that, but from a move-to-move basis, this is pretty much a really interesting way to consider gameplay balance, move balance, and the structure of design spaces. This has been an important topic because we're going to move on later in the week, later sometime this month, and talk about raw game design. And the more conservative a move is, I feel like people compensate in a very particular way. Players think about them a certain way, feel about using them a certain way, and when they actually are successful in using these moves that are more conservative, it creates a very distinct response that's different from if moves are somewhere in the middle or on the over-designed spectrum of things. But that has been today's episode of Design Over Time. You can follow Design Oriented on Twitter. You can leave your comments down below if you have any questions, and I will get back to them before the end of the week. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at KirbyKid. I do a lot of things in the Smash community. That's why I'm wearing this shirt. It's another project that I started called One Smash. Right there, One Smash, and we lab and collect all Smash 4 tech into one database so people can find and learn and search for all the cool things that are happening in the metagame all in one place. We're doing cool things on our One Smash Twitter, so you can check that out at Serving Smash. But we will see you tomorrow on another episode of Design Over Time. Take care.